I'd also like to bring in Marine Corps veteran and author Elliot Ackerman for his reaction to all of this. Elliot, I know you served 5 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. How do you feel seeing Afghanistan fall to the Taliban like this?
Before I answer that, I'd just like to say I couldn't agree more strongly with everything that Elizabeth just said. And, this is profoundly shameful for our country. The reverberations of how we have handled this will echo out for generations. And, right now, America is a far less safe place based off of this.
Mm-hmm. And Elliot, while we're waiting to hear what President Biden says about Afghanistan's fall to the Taliban in his remarks this afternoon, which we're going to be covering, but I want to ask you your opinion. Right now, it does seem like there's almost a kind of a blame game going around. There's people who support President Biden pointing at President Trump and vice versa, and Obama and Bush. He's the 4th president to have been president during our war in Afghanistan. How has this administration and other past presidencies played a role in this situation, do you think?
Well, I think certainly the execution of this withdrawal has been handled in an extremely haphazard way. And just to speak, particularly to the blame game that, yes, does seem to be going on right now, I think it's important to recognize that as we speak, there is a crisis at the airport in Kabul, and there are still American citizens in Afghanistan who have not been evacuated. And as much as, many of us are pontificating about whether this is like Saigon in 75 or this is worse than Saigon in 75, that ship has sailed. The question now should really be, how do we avoid this becoming like Tehran in 1979, in which you see hostages being taken and Americans not being able to leave Afghanistan because of the Taliban? So we are in the midst of a crisis. I think right now our leaders need to move us through this crisis. We need to get all of the American citizens out of Afghanistan, and we need to do our very best to get our Afghan partners out of the country so we can at least do some damage control for what obviously many Afghans are feeling, and justifiably so, is a massive betrayal.
And those are the pressing problems in Afghanistan. Here in this country, the country is going through a kind of trauma of defeat is what we're looking at. And I wonder what you expect to hear from President Biden. I'm thinking in particular of President Kennedy, a new president. When the Bay of Pigs invasion that he inherited failed, he stood up and said, "I am the responsible officer of the government." In other words, it's on me. Do you expect President Biden to say something like that?
I hope that that's what he says. I hope we don't hear or have any hints of recriminations or a passing of the buck, whether that is or is not justified. I think, what he owes the American people is a very candid assessment of the situation on the ground, which is probably also an admission that things have not gone according to plan, and what the plan is moving forward to ameliorate the situation, to get American citizens out of the country. I think he owes that to their loved ones, who I'm sure are watching the television and looking for news, and what we are going to do for our Afghan partners to do right by the promises that we've made to them, and to, in some way, pick up our national honor from off the floor.
So, Elliot, what do you want to hear from President Biden today, and what will you be listening for as he speaks?
What I want to hear from him is his assessment of the situation on the ground and what the plan is moving forward to get American citizens and get our Afghan partners out of the country, and then perhaps some sense of what the strategy is moving forward to deal with the Taliban, the region, and ensure that our homeland is safe.
And when you look, Elliot, at the wider picture, the broader implication of this fall, and as we were just talking with Elizabeth, the way that China is already exploiting it for propaganda purposes, how will the U.S.'s response be remembered? What impact will it have?
Well, I think it's important to keep in mind that, Afghanistan is, through history, is a strategically essential nation. It sits at an important crossroads in Asia. It has vital mineral wealth that surely the Chinese are eyeing. It's significant to Russia, obviously very significant to Pakistan. The United States might say that it is done with Afghanistan, but Afghanistan is not done with the United States. And I would just like to amplify Elizabeth's point that keeping a small residual force in Afghanistan would adhere to what the U.S. typically does when a war comes to an end. What we did in Europe after the Second World War, or in Japan, or even our enduring commitments to wars in our own hemisphere, places like Colombia, where we participated in a 3 decades-long war against the FARC that ultimately led to a positive conclusion. So what is going to be our enduring presence, or at least posture now, to that part of the world? Because, the United States, we're not Aruba. We are a leader in the world. And in order to lead, you need to be present.
All right, author and Marine Corps veteran Elliot Ackerman. Elliot, thanks for your time today, and thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.